Oh, really? Yes. Good. Thank you.
Kathy, you want to get us front and center?
Yeah. I'm here. Where do you want me to be? The driveway? That ought to crush your heart, right?
Yeah, let's do that.
But it's better pointed out. You never if they notice that it's true.
Excuse me.
That's Kim.
Nice to meet you.
Great day for you guys.
Oh, this is a great day for us. We got a bunch of stuff.
I pulled out, I said, doesn't look like it's got any kind of residue on it.
All the work I've done.
So everybody, we'll get you to come on up here. And it's okay if we stand in the grass, they said. We got some shade and we can gather around the family up here.
We invite everybody.
Yeah, we planted this tree when we bought the house.
Come on, y'all.
She make you do most working at RV or
I work at home, but I can computer while she works.
there you go. What kind of tree is it?
Camp trees.
So enjoyed learning about
Scoop right out the pit.
amazing. I can't wait. And I'm in the position you guys saw a lot of things, looking forward to learning. I would imagine. You're getting it from an entirely different perspective. You feel it from a first person sense.
Yeah.
You ready, Mike?
Yes. I think we are.
Kim, thank you for letting us come here today. Thank you for allowing us to come to your home and to pay tribute to your son. Not just your son, but your sons, both of them. If something happened to Ricky, they would call his wife a widow. Something happened to her, they call him a widower. I grew up at a place called the Barium Springs Home for Children. They called us orphans. Of all the millions and millions of words we have, and the nomenclatures and slangs, we have no word for the loss of a child. There's no moniker that comes with that, especially the loss of two children. And I think that maybe that's because there are no words. There are no words that could ever express what you've been through and what your family and this community has suffered. And when there are no words, Kathy and Kim, the only thing left are actions. And this is an action. There are people here on their motorcycles, on their own dime, from California, from Oregon, from Illinois, from Minnesota, from Wisconsin, from Illinois, if I didn't say that, from North Carolina, and South. I just have to say it twice because Dan he's a hard head. I'll say Wisconsin twice too because the pastor there thinks that's Minnesota.
And it goes with North Dakota too.
And there are many Gold Star mothers here as well. But all the Gold Stars that are here, raise your hand, let them see you, that came with us. And we're here to say something to you in a very loud and clear voice. We're here to say thank you. And we're here to say that your son will be remembered.
That's right.
He will be remembered as long as we are alive and our children. We know that every day is Veterans Day in that home.
Yep.
Every day is Memorial Day, and there's an empty place at that table every single day, 2 empty places. We have some things that we want to give you. I'm going to talk a little bit about our boys, and then all these people want to come by and tell you what they think personally. This is Ray Hyder and Roxanne. They're from North Carolina, from the North Carolina chapter.
Hi, I'm Roxanne with the Tribute to the Troops Board of Directors, and we would like to present you with these 2 bracelets to let you know that your sons will not be forgotten. And also, this is a prayer blanket that I've made for you that I hope and pray gives you comfort during your sad times.
Thank you so much.
Very much.
Thank you.
Seneca Rocky, thank you for having us at your home today. It's our honor to come and represent your sons. This is a star from a flag that flew over North Carolina, and it says, "I am part of the American flag that has flown over the USA. I can no longer fly. The suns and winds have caused me to become tattered and torn. Please display me as a reminder that Herman Cripple IV, affectionately known as Bud, will not be forgotten." Thank you.
They're going to hold it for you.
I didn't know I was getting a lot of stuff. Thank you.
This is Dan. He's from Illinois.
I'm from Illinois. And she's
Maybe,
from Illinois.
maybe you can explain why he's like he is.
Hi, so I'm Dan. I'm from the Illinois Tribute to the Troops chapter. We have some other people here from all over, mainly Chicago area-ish. Sorry. Well, you're enjoying the weather much better than what it is. So, I'm not sorry. But all these people come here. The days get set up, and you move your schedule. You make whatever it needs to be done, because we're going to be here, and we all want to be here. And there's no other place that we'd rather be right now than right here with you, and cherishing your loved one, and making sure that if the thought ever even starts to creep in the back of your mind, do people cherish what happened, and do people remember them? This right here proves that should never even be a thought. This is proof that we will not forget. We will always remember, and just straight out, just love you.
Thank you.
So welcome to the fam.
Thank you.
So these are Illinois.
Oh, wow, thank you.
Thank you.
Oh,
Thank you
so
for
much.
having us.
Thank you.
Those are called challenge coins. And in the military, if you go to the enlisted members club or officers club where he might go, and you don't have your coin, you have to buy the drinks.
Now we're in. Now we're in. All right.
You're in? This is Rhonda. She's from our Minnesota chapter. They left from a blizzard. They were having a blizzard, and they sat on the tarmac for 4 hours and then had to change planes.
It's a lot warmer here.
It is warmer here, but we didn't come for the weather. We came here to honor your son, and we want you to know that we have quite a few people here from Minnesota, and yes, we come down on our own dime, but we don't care about that. We're here for you, and we want you to know that you have family all the way from Minnesota, in Oregon, to North Carolina, to Florida, north, south, east, and west. Every day, call out on one of us. We're here for emotional support, and we just want you to know we're here for you and we love you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Here's a coin for you to remember us. Thank you. We're from Minnesota. Thank you. Love Minnesota. You're welcome up anytime. Yeah. Preferably in the summertime. Yeah.
You don't want to come
mosquitoes.
now. Yeah. Make it 7:47.
Cindy and Roger Caskey lost their son, Michael.
I'm so sorry for your loss. What I've done is I've made a couple things, and I have to make sure I talk loud enough. We give tutorials on speaking into mics here. Someone with a sound system over there.
Speak up.
So I've made these keychains, and each of the keychains has 3 different charms. The first one is an angel, and think of Bud as your angel by your side. The heart represents the love that you had for him and he had for you. And the star, a gold star, means something totally different to us. But as you saw, there's a lot of us here that are Gold Star family, and we're here to support each other, and you know that. So this is for each of you, and I think we have a holder over there.
Yeah, we have a holder.
Instead of a seat holder, he's just, you know.
We had to find some use for him.
How's that make you feel, Ray?
I made these hearts, and why don't you pick out one for each of you, and I wear them with my son's dog tags, and that way you can.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, just remember the love that comes from us being here, and we're here to support you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks for coming. That's my hello. Very much. Thank you very much for coming.
Kathy and Kim, this is Andy Renfro. He's the president of our Oregon chapter. He's also our handsome face we put on the posters.
That man lies. He's the face on the poster. So I am here from Oregon, and I've got a challenge going here for you, so that you don't have to buy beers.
I'll be headed to Oregon soon. My aunt and uncle live there.
Whereabouts?
Creswell.
You gotta be kidding me.
No.
That's 20 minutes from my house.
Oh, cool.
Did you just drop an F-bomb?
No.
She's talking herself. No, seriously, I go to Creswell all the time. I'll get you my contact information. I'd love to take you guys to dinner. Are you flying in?
Probably, yeah. Probably.
I can hook you up with a car you can take.
Oh.
Yeah.
Thank you. Great.
Yeah. So.
Family.
Yeah.
Yes.
Family. Absolutely. If you guys are ever in Oregon, that goes for any of you guys. You're ever in Oregon, I got a place I can put you up. I got a vehicle you can use. You cannot ride my bike. But my wife has too.
Just paid Jennifer's room one.
Negative. Weird.
I got North Carolina, right?
The other day I was walking down the beach, and sand was just filling my boots. And it was just, well, I had riding boots on. It gets filtered in there from riding paws and stuff. And I was just thinking, man, these grains of sand are so small, and there's so much. And that's what God's love is like. It's like every grain of sand. It's like every drop of water on the earth. He loves you far more than any of that. And sometimes that can be hard to remember. When you see this coin, remember that. Remember, all the sand in the world isn't a drop in a bucket compared to God's love for you.
Amen.
I'm sorry for your loss.
Thank you. Thank you. Wow. Thank you.
This is Jennifer Pruden. We met her in Oregon, although she's from California. And then she started coming to all of our rides. And I don't think you ride a motorcycle.
I do at home.
At
I'm
home.
Strickland.
She's got
But-
two also.
Stand corrected. But she comes and she makes all these things with her hands and travels all over the country to do this. It's Jennifer Pruden.
Thank you for having us. I just want you guys to remember this moment and all of these people here who are here to love on you and hug your neck, as Rocky says. I always think of these buttons. They have these little holes in them because if you don't let anybody see the brokenness, the light can't come through. So each of these people are a little piece of light. Nothing is ever going to replace your son, but we're here to love you, and we're here to make sure that he's never forgotten. So we're going to hold all this, but I'm going to give you all a
We've
hug.
come from California to Florida, back from California,
Oh,
back to Florida.
thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Warm weather, huh?
Mike,
Thank you.
is it you?
I think so.
This is Mike Sheets. He's the president of our newest chapter in Florida.
Yeah, we talked to him. Welcome.
Yes, we have.
When everybody is, it's so great to listen to everyone. I was thinking when Andy was talking, how true that was about the grains of sand, and how much God loves us. And then I thought, where the hell are there any beaches in Oregon?
I'll show you pictures.
It's not big. It's ours. They're all on TV.
Yeah. This is Robert Yules. He's also on the Florida Board of Directors. He's going to be up here with us. So, as I've met with all of the Gold Stars, I've been with the organization now for 11 of the 15 years, and started the Florida chapter down here 3 years ago. And as I've met with all of the Gold Stars, the common theme that I've met and heard from all of them is that you're always afraid that your son or daughter, father, mother, whoever, is going to be forgotten. That's the common theme that we hear. And as Rocky said at the very beginning, our promise is that Bud will never be forgotten. And your other son's name, Jeffrey will never be forgotten. And all of these people here are here to promise you that they will never be forgotten. And that's where Tribute to the Troops has been founded on. So we're here to make sure of that. And I want to read something to you. Remember when I told you you were going to see that picture again? I remember talking to Kathy because I called her and I said, so there's a whole bunch of names on here. There's Herman, there's Fred. What should I call him? She goes, you call him Bud. I said, okay.
Yes, ma'am.
We'll always remember our fallen hero. Tribute to the Troops is honored to present this memorial plaque of distinguished service to the family of Petty Officer Second Class Herman Fred Bolte Bud IV, in remembrance of his everlasting call to bravery, honor, and sacrifice in the name of country and duty. We realize the hardship that you have endured on behalf of our great nation, and we want you to know that the wounds that you carry in your hearts and minds will never be forgotten. Dedicated to the family of Petty Officer Second Class Herman F. Bolte IV Bud. From Tribute to the Troops on Saturday, April 13th, 2019. Hang this somewhere where you see it and you'll remember all these people are here today to make sure that you guys don't forget.
Thank you.
Never forgotten.
Wow, thank you.
That's
awesome.
Not done yet.
So Bud was born on July the 17th, 1979 at Hillsborough Community Hospital in Hillsborough, Kansas at 5:23 in the morning. He weighed 8 pounds, 7 3/4 ounces. That's interesting because on that same exact day, 3 years later, his brother was born, and he weighed 8 pounds, 6 3/4 ounces. 1 ounce less. Back home in the South, we have a saying that says, there's not an ounce of difference between them. That normally is better understood when I show up and Hoss is by the stage and I go, Hoss, why did you use the blue top instead of the red top? And Hoss says, ain't an ounce of difference between them, Bob. That's how it goes. But in this case, actually there was an ounce of difference between them. They lived in Kansas on a farm. They had horses, they had 200 cows, they raised crops. One year they had 62 pigs. That was a disaster. And we did that once. She learned early on a bunch of things. First off, that she never called him, that his full name is Herman, the whole Fred Bolte IV. But she called him Buddy from the day she brought him home because Herman III was a philanderer and not a very nice guy, and not a very good father. So eventually she dropped the E and went to Bud, and she also dropped Herman III. And that's how the story started. She learned right away that her boys were super, super smart. She never had Bud's IQ tested, but she did test Jeffrey's IQ. And Jeffrey was over 160, which is genius level. They made excellent grades in school. They loved each other. the two brothers were very, very close to each other as they began to grow. Ended up living in Nevada. Turn my page. Sorry. So, Bud made the honor roll and the National Honor Scholar all the way up through high school. In the beginning of his sophomore year, he decided that he wanted to try to patch things up with his father. So he went to live with his father. Kathy hoped that would work, but she didn't have a lot of faith in it, and it didn't last very long, and he came back home. When he came home, he said he was bored with school, and he'd like to quit school and join the military. So Kathy took him to a naval recruiter who said, well, to join the Navy, you're going to need a GED and at least 15 hours of college credit. So Bud set about doing that exact thing. Jeffrey and Bud were close. They loved each other. And at 17 years old, Bud had 18 college credits and a GED. And on his 17th birthday, Kathy signed for Bud to join the United States Navy. He went to the Great Lakes Naval Academy. He went to school. He learned how to fix airplanes. He was an airplane mechanic. Sometime in this time, Jeffrey took a trip to Las Vegas. Just an 18-year-old super smart kid to go see the world, and ran into a man who thought that his cell phone was more important than his life. And Jeffrey was shot in the chest with a shotgun by a criminal over his cell phone. Family suffered their first tragic and horrible loss. Jeffrey meant a lot to this family. Bud served our country, was honorably discharged from active duty, and joined the Naval Reserves. And while he was at Fort Jackson, he worked on the F-18, and for a while he was named as one of the best F-18 mechanics that they had. After he got out, he was at Camp Magoo in California, and he worked on the C-130 cargo plane. It come to be that some of his unit was going to be activated to go to Iraq, and Bud volunteered to go to Iraq so that men with families would not have to go. Kathy had a very frank discussion with him, saying, I cannot go through what I went through again. And he promised his mother, he said, I will come home from Iraq. And he did. While he was in Iraq, he went to Qatar, he went to Bahrain, he went to the United Arab Emirates. He went to a place called Abu Dhabi. There's a place called Abu Dhabi. And that's where he went. And he served our country with honor, with duty and fidelity and valor. He was respected by his officers. He was respected by his non-commissioned officers. He'd just gotten home from his deployment at Iraq, and on Sunday he helped Kathy fix a fence, help her do it. Diane Otto, please join me up here. Right here. Comes and hold her hand when she comes up here. He's going to hit her hard. As he began to leave that day, he said, if I die on my motorcycle, at least I'll die happy. Bud left to go back to the base. As he took the exit, he was hit by a car, was speeding, and knocked off the motorcycle and killed. The car ran away. It was a felony hit and run. A witness chased the car down and got the license tag and gave it to the police, who went to the home of record. And when they got to the home of record, it was an elderly lady who said, I sold that car months ago. But that woman had taken the information of the person that bought the car and gave that to the police. The police went to that home, and the lady answered the door who didn't speak English. There was a communication issue there. But she said, in effect, no one by that name that you're looking for lives in this home. The police took that information and sent it to their superiors who didn't buy it. They came back to the house that afternoon at 5 in the afternoon. The house had been cleared out. It was empty. And the man that took Herman, Buddy, from us was never apprehended. Bud was born in Hillsboro, Kansas. He had a genius IQ. He surfed. He swam competitively. He played golf. He loved anything but water. He loved animals, and he was just like us. he loved motorcycles. His mother raised two wonderful men, and they both were taken way too young. Buddy was a naval officer, second class in the United States Navy, and this is his family. Anchorage Away.